I'm going to show you the fastest way to increase your KDP sales, and it's completely free. Let's get into it. Now, what I'm going to show you works instantly. If you implement this one simple change, you will get way more sales very, very quickly by tomorrow. That's how fast this works. Now, I know this works because it worked for me. It worked for hundreds of clients that I work with. It worked for everyone in the community. It worked for everyone I know. Everyone who's tried it, they've saw an increase in their sales. So I know it works. It's as simple as that. And what is it? Well, before I explain to you exactly what it is, here's how it's actually going to increase our sales. So this is the amount of impressions we get, let's say. If you don't know what an impression is, it basically just means your book popped up on someone's screen. So someone searched dinosaur book, for example, and then it popped up on 1 million people's screen. Now, out of those millions of people that saw your dinosaur book, 5,000 of them actually clicked on your book. And out of the 5,000 that clicked, 500 actually bought. This is the funnel. This is how customers buy on Amazon. First, they look at your book, then they click on your book, and then they buy your book, if your book is good. Now, what you can do is you can measure the percentage of people that you're converting for each step. So, from us to get from 1 million impressions to 5,000 clicks, that's around 0.5%. This is your click-through rate, which means the amount of people that clicked after looking at your book. So, it's the percentage of people that clicked after getting an impression. So, 5%. 0.5% of 1 million is 5,000. So 0.5% click-through rate with 1 million impressions gets you 5,000 clicks. Now we do the same thing here to see your conversion rate. Now your conversion rate is basically how many people actually bought your book after clicking on it. So from 5,000 to 500, that's a 10% conversion rate, because 10% of 5,000 is 500. Now, here's the best part. Here's how you're going to increase your sales. All we have to do to increase our sales, so this bottom part, all we have to do to increase this is increase this, because it's all percentages. The more you increase the top of funnel, the more you increase the bottom of funnel. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to actually get this higher. So instead of you getting a 0.5% click-through rate, you can get a 1% click-through rate. And guess what happens when you get a 1% click-through rate? Let's not change anything else. We just get a 1% click-through rate. That means out of 1 million impressions, we actually get 10,000 clicks. And now that we have 10,000 clicks at a 10% conversion rate, that's not 500 sales. That's, in fact, 1,000 sales. So we didn't run any extra ads. We didn't do anything different. No SEO, no nothing like that. All we did was increase our click-through rate. Now, what determines your click-through rate? How do we actually increase it? Well, I want to show you one tiny little change that you can make that's going to drastically improve your click-through rate. It's so small, but it's so powerful. But in order for you to understand exactly how this works and how to maximize your click-through rate, you need to understand deeply this technique. I'm going to show you everything in this video, and you can go implement whatever I show you, and you're going to see results, I promise you, as long as you do it effectively. Now, if we want to influence our click-through rate, we need to influence the elements that customers see before they click on our book. And what are those? Well, you have your reviews. They get to see that in the search results. You have your title, you have your subtitle, you have your book cover, and you have your price. That's basically the main factors that they see before clicking on your book. Which one of these do we have most influence over? Well, this, not so much. The title and the subtitle, not so much. Why? Because as soon as we publish our book, we can't really change it. If it's a paperback, if it's an ebook, you can change it, but we're going to stick with paperback. Now, our reviews, we can't post any reviews. It takes a lot more effort to go gather reviews and get other people and your ARC team to leave reviews. So reviews isn't the one that we're going to focus on. So it's either book cover or price. Now, our price is determined by our market. So if the market price reaches up to $12.99, we can't really go $14.99. And also if we go anything lower, we just make less profit, which means we're making less money. And I'm not here to show you how to make less money. I'm here to show you how to make more money. So we eliminate that. So the only thing that's left is your book cover. You can influence your customers so much just with your book cover. I'm going to show you just one technique that you can do, and you're going to see drastic results. Now, how does your book cover actually work? Well, let's say this is our book cover. Let's say it's a cookbook. So I'm just going to draw this thing here. I'm going to draw a drumstick because it's the only thing I know how to draw. There we go. That's the bone. That's the drumstick. Very, very nice. It's a cookbook. Here's our title, cookbook, and then we have our subtitle here, and then we have an author name here, and maybe we have like a little sticker thing here. So, 100 recipes, blah, blah, blah. So we have our book cover. Now, here's the thing. When you create a book cover, the only piece of information that the customer or the shopper absorbs is visual information, because your book cover is a visual thing. It's a visual element. If you give them a price, it's not a visual thing. It's more of a value-based thoughts that they have. They have value-based thoughts. When they look at the reviews of your book, it's more of a social proof. How much do they trust your book? But with the book cover, it's more visual. So you have a bunch of visual information. Now, this is your brain. There's two parts of your brain. You have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Now, guess which one's bigger? Your conscious brain or your subconscious brain? Your subconscious brain is actually bigger. Now, if you don't know what your subconscious brain, this is the part of your brain that's getting you to breathe right now. or you're blinking. You're not conscious of it. You're not thinking, okay, blink now, blink now, blink now. No, it's just happening by itself. It's the part of your brain that's making your heart beat. It's the part of your brain that's making you breathe. It's the part of your brain that controls everything in your body without your conscious thought. You don't have to think about it. So that's your subconscious. That's way, way, way bigger than your conscious brain. This right here is your conscious brain. Now, when your brain looks at a brand new cover, it's going to get a bunch of different design information. Now, do you think these visual elements, these design information, do you think it's going in your subconscious brain first or your conscious brain first? Well, it's actually going in your subconscious brain first, because it can't go through your conscious brain until it breaks through your subconscious brain. So it goes in your subconscious brain first, and then it breaks into your conscious brain. Now, even though you're not conscious that it goes in your subconscious, that's how it works, because we subconsciously process information first and then we consciously process it. So with a brand new cover, your subconscious brain is absorbing all this information and sending it to your conscious brain. Now, before it even reaches your conscious brain, your subconscious brain has already made an assumption about the book based on the visual elements that you put in your cover. It doesn't care what's inside the book. It doesn't care about the price or the reviews or anything like that. Purely based on what your eyes saw, your subconscious brain will form an opinion about the book. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If you know about design and you know what you're doing, you can easily influence the subconscious brain to have a positive assumption about your book. So if you see a bad cover, most people, especially if you're not a designer, you don't know why it's bad. You know it's bad, you know it's not visually appealing, but you're not aware why it's not good. If you're a designer and you have a bunch of experience, you can pinpoint things that you can change on why it doesn't look good. But here's the thing, as soon as your subconscious processes all this information, sends it to your conscious brain, then what happens is you associate a feeling, because that's the whole point of book cover design, a feeling. It's all about your feelings. That's how your subconscious brain processes information. That's how your conscious brain processes information, based on the feeling. Now, I'm not talking about maths or anything like that, because if you're trying to figure out some maths equation, there's no feelings associated with it. Even though feelings come afterwards. If you can't figure out the maths equation, then you get feelings of overwhelm or anxiety. But we're just talking about design in this video. I'm going to try my best not to go off topic. Now, don't worry, I'm going to show you something practical that you can implement in your book cover. You're going to see massive increased sales. Just this one thing. Now, out of all of these pieces of information, all these pieces of visual information that are going in your subconscious brain to form a conscious decision and then form a feeling regarding your book cover, I'm going to show you one of these that's super, super, super powerful. I'm going to show you why it's powerful. I'm going to show you a book cover right now. Okay, you ready? There we go. You saw that book cover. What's your opinion about that book cover? I know, it was too fast to see. So you have zero opinions about it. Your subconscious brain maybe picked it up, but your conscious brain didn't pick it up. So can you tell me what the book is about? Probably not. It was too fast for you to see. Now, here's the most important question. Can you tell me one piece of information about the book? Just something that you remember. Just anything, visually anything that you remember. Do you remember what color the book was? Yeah, very, very easy. Now, why can you remember the color? Because the color of the book is one of the elements where your subconscious brain and your conscious brain can pick up faster than anything else. So color is one of the things that your conscious brain picks up very, very, very fast. Like if I show you even for a split second, you're going to see the color above everything else. So color is the first piece of information that every single viewer on Amazon looks at when it comes to book covers, before all the other things. There's a bunch of other elements that give you feelings and all of that and create really good covers. But color is one of the most important things. If I ask you the font of the book cover, you have no idea. If I ask you if there was any textures or patterns that you saw, you have no idea. If I tell you what color did you see, you're going to say red instantly, because it's so easy to process. Now, the most important part is that color can actually affect your feelings, because that's what we're trying to do with our book covers. We're trying to give the correct feelings to the potential customer. If we get them to feel a certain way about our book, they're going to buy our book. Now, what feelings can colors create? Well, basically any feeling you can think of, a color can create it. This is called color psychology. Now, when I first got introduced to color psychology, I thought it didn't work. I thought it was all random things that people were talking about. It wasn't real. But turns out it's very, very, very real. There's a bunch of study that's being done. For example, they made some fruit more red than usual. And then people that ate that fruit said that it was sweeter than usual. So the color red made the food taste sweeter. In fact, they even did some studies where they painted the walls red in a restaurant, and they saw that people ate more and spent more in that restaurant because of the red walls. They tested other colors as well, and they saw that red was the one that increased appetite the most. So they used color psychology. They literally painted the walls and they made more money. It's insane. One of the craziest examples is the Baker Miller prison. If you don't know about the Baker Miller prison, basically I think there was this guy called Baker Miller. He went to a prison, and what he did is he painted the whole prison pink. It was a specific type of pink. And what happened is, after a while, they realized that aggressiveness and violence went down significantly because pink increased something in the body or decreased something in the body, and it made the inmates less aggressive. So violence went down by painting the prison pink. So color affected the person's psychology because it affected their feelings, which caused the violence to go down or aggressiveness to go down, because color controls your feelings. Now, if restaurants can use color to make more money and get people to eat more, and prisons can use color to make inmates less aggressive, you can use color correctly to make more money with your KDP books. And how do we do that? Well, I'm going to show you some colors and their psychological principles. I don't know what it's called, but what feelings they cause when you see it. So blue. Blue is usually the color of trust. Now, whatever I'm going to say now is not 100% is going to work every single time. It's just if you use this, your book seems more trustworthy. There's other things associated with blue as well. You go do your own research because I can't list out everything here. There's literally like 10s and 20 and 30 different things that can be associated with blue. Go out, do your research, write color psychology, you're going to figure it out. But blue is usually the color of trust. If you go to the doctor, they're wearing blue things or blue clothes. Blue logos are usually for banks or other things that are trying to get you to trust them. Blue is usually the color of trust. Green is usually the color of nature. And because in nature we seem calm and we feel more calm when we're in nature, it's also the color of calmness. So if you're making a meditation book, you can use green because it's usually going to give someone, the viewer, a more calm state, or they're going to associate feelings of calmness to green. If you're making a medical book, you could probably pick blue. Now, yellow is usually associated with joy or happiness. So if you're making a kid's book, you could probably use yellow to associate joy and happiness and positive feelings. Purple is usually associated with luxury. If you see purple, I think the Romans used to wear purple, and they were the only ones that wore purple because that was the color of luxury. Based on the very, very minimal knowledge that I have on Romans, I think they used to wear purple because that was the color of luxury. So if you're making a very luxurious book, then purple might be a good color to use on your book cover. Now, you also have white, which is clean or simple or minimalistic. If you see a white book cover, you automatically assume super clean, super minimalistic, organized. It can be peaceful. If you have black, this can be mysterious. So you can have mystery, or you can have power. There's a bunch of different ones associated with each color. Go out there, do your research, test out different colors with your book cover so you can see which one gives the feeling that you want to portray to your viewer or your customer. Now, out of all of those colors, I know I didn't say all the colors. Go out there, find all the colors. You can see the one that works best for your book cover. But out of all of these colors, you're going to pick one. This is going to be your main color. Now, here's the thing. If you pick green, for example, you're not going to have everything green on your book cover. You're going to have some other elements that are different colors. Now, how do you figure out the other colors that you're supposed to match with your main color? So in other words, how do you find your color combination? Well, it's very simple. You look at the color wheel. If you don't know what a color wheel is, actually, let me do this. Are you ready? Check that out. How sick is that? This is a color wheel. I'm going to take this down. Ready? Look at that. That's sick. Anyway, that was the color wheel. What is the color wheel? It's something that looks like a pizza. Now, each one of these is a different color. So this is red, this is blue, this is yellow. And you get the point. I can't think of any other designs to do. But anyway, this is basically roughly what the color wheel looks like. So what the color wheel does is that you can basically create shapes in the color wheel. So combine lines to figure out which colors match with each other color. That doesn't make any sense. So let me go deeper into it. Let me just simplify it for you. So there's a lot of different color combinations that you can use. I'm not going to go through all of them in this video. If you're part of the community, I go through all of them and I explain all of them visually. I got videos and everything. I show you everything, examples. Everything you need to know about colors, I show you in that video in the community. If you're not part of the community, we're going to talk about the main one in this video, which is your complementary color combination. This is the one usually that everyone uses. This is the most famous one. Now, what's complementary color combination? It's super, super simple. You take one of these colors, let's say this one here. Okay, let's say this one here is green. We're going to take this color and we're going to go complete opposite and we're going to use this color as well. So whatever color you pick, you go the opposite way of the color wheel and you pick the other color as well. So if I pick this one and this is red, I'm going to go over here and pick this one, which might be blue. If I pick this one and it's yellow, I might pick this one, which might be green. I don't have the color wheel in my head right now, but whatever color you pick, you go the complete opposite way and you pick the other color as well. Now there's sometimes where you don't have to go the complete opposite way. You can move a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right and it will still work very, very good. Now complementary color combination is the most famous one, which is why usually when you see blue book covers, the complementary color for blue is yellow. So if you go on Amazon, try and find some blue book covers, you're going to see that they usually use blue and yellow. That's a complementary color combination. If you see green book covers, they usually use purple. So if I tell you, show me a Halloween book or a witch book, and it's a purple book, they usually have some green elements, so they can have a complementary color combination. Same with blue and yellow, same with red and blue. I think red and blue is a complementary one, but there's loads of complementary ones. All you have to do is pick your color, go the opposite way, and either pick the one that's directly opposite the color that you picked, or you can move a tiny bit over here or a tiny bit over here. But you're not going to pick the one over here, you're not going to pick the one over here, you're not going to pick the one over here or the one over here. Only the ones opposite. So if I'm looking at these colors here, I'm going to be looking at these colors here as a complementary one. I'm going to ignore these colors over here. Never going to pick them. So if you did your color psychology and you realize that you want a trust book cover, a book cover that shows trust, you're going to pick blue. And then when you go into your color wheel, you're going to say, okay, well, my main color is blue. What's my complementary color? Well, opposite is yellow. So I'm going to pick yellow. And then you know that your book cover is going to be blue and yellow. Now, there's many, many, many other color combinations. I can't go through all of them. But you have analogous and triadic and tetradic and a bunch of other ones. You have split complementary as well. But it's way too complicated for me to go through in this video. If you want to see all the color combinations, everything I talk about, if you're part of the community, you have access to those videos. And before I end the video, there's one final question you're probably asking. How do you know which one to pick and how do you organize those colors? So let's say we do have blue and yellow. How much blue do I use and how much yellow do I use? Well, it's very simple. First, you want to pick your dominant color. So your dominant color, this is basically based on the color psychology that you went through. So if you pick blue, your dominant color is blue. So if blue is your dominant color, dominant meaning more powerful or the one above, that means that it has to be more than yellow. So can it be 50%? Obviously not, because then yellow has to be 50% and that's not the dominant color. So you basically have two options. You can either go 60 or 70%, which means your substitute color or your complementary color is going to be 40% or 30%. Now, if you go online, search for a blue book cover with a complementary color combination, you're going to see that it's mostly blue and a little bit of yellow. There's always going to be less yellow than blue. Now, if the dominant color is yellow, there's going to be more yellow than blue. That's how complementary color combinations work. Now, if you decide to use one of the other color combinations, where there's 3 colors or more. So let's say our final color was green. So let's say we have 3 colors, blue, yellow, and green. Again, we want to pick a dominant color. So let's say our dominant color is blue. Now we can do 50% because we know the other ones can't be 50-50 because that doesn't add up to 100. But what we can do is we can do 50, 30, 20. It doesn't really matter. These second ones don't really matter. You can do 25%, 25%. These ones can be equal to each other as long as you have one dominant color. As long as you have one that takes up more color than the other colors, more space than the other colors. Now, if you can implement color correctly in your book covers, you're going to see a drastic increase in your click-through rate, which means a drastic increase in your sales. And it's very simple. First, you look at the psychology. Which one is going to give my viewer the feeling that I want them to have associated with my book? Once you figure that out, you go in the color wheel and select the perfect combination. This combination is super satisfying to look at. It gives your cover a more visually appealing design if you select the correct combination. There's many combinations. Go and test it out. Now, once you figure out your combination, you need to figure out your, what's the word I'm looking for? How you spread out the colors. Essentially, you just want to figure out your dominant color and then your complementary one, if you're using the complementary color combination. If you're not, then you're going to figure out your dominant color and then separate the other 2 colors or 3 colors or 4 colors, however many you're using, based on having one dominant color. If you can implement these 3 things into your book cover, you're going to see massive changes, massive shifts in your sales. Now, there's a bunch of other elements that has to go into your book cover before you can have a good book cover. It's just, this is one of the things. Now, if you're part of the community, I share 6 more secrets like this In fact, I go way deeper into colors, and then I share another 5 or 6 different design elements. I'm not quite sure how many I share, but I share around 5 or 6. If you're part of the program, I share over 10. I basically show you everything. But if you're part of the community, you have way more things to learn about book covers. And I show you practical examples, practical book covers. You don't have to go do any research, you don't have to do anything. It's all laid out there for you. If you're not part of the community, that's okay. There's a bunch of free YouTube videos you can go watch. Probably not from me, but there's a bunch of free YouTube videos you can watch. You can learn a bit of design on YouTube. There's not anything specifically for book covers, but you can figure it out yourself. But anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. If you're gonna test this out, please let me know. Let me know how much better your book cover looks after implementing the correct colors in your book cover. Let me know your results down below. I love to see your results. And if you found this video valuable, click on the video that just popped up here on the whiteboard. You're gonna find that even more valuable. But anyway, I hope you go out there and make a bunch of money and come back and tell me how you did. Tell me your results. I love to hear your results.